Hello caffeine fiends and welcome to another coffee review video. I'm Vince the Mean Bean Machine and today we're looking at Café Direct's Machu Picchu single origin beans. Now this is an interesting one because this was given to me as a gift, as part of a gift from a friend who was actually a little reluctant to give it to me. Initially he kind of ummed and ahed, and it was only when his wife kind of pushed him to hand over the bag of coffee, because he had this image that, being a kind of interested in specialty coffee, I wouldn't particularly want something he'd picked up in, I presume, Sainsbury's or, you know, his local supermarket basically. So there is a sense of, you know, is specialty coffee too snobbish? Can I pick up a decent bag in the supermarket? Now, I've covered a lot of supermarket blends and, you know, bags of coffee, not just blends. And I do tend to have this kind of caveat of, for the supermarket blends or bags, this is not too bad. And that's because I will always favour the independent, just in terms of business and what they're doing. But you can pick up decent coffee from a supermarket. It's just going to be more mass produced, more aimed at a supermarket crowd. So there are going to be bits where it's, you know, the rougher edges are left on in favour of mass production. However, Café Direct is a company I've tried several times. If you look back on this channel, you'll find I've tried their Honduran beans and their DR Congo beans. And at both times they were perfectly pleasant. So this is an interesting one because it's Machu Picchu. I've tried a lot of Peruvian coffees. I've been to Machu Picchu. I've, you know, seen the coffee grown in that region. I've had the coffee grown in that region, you know, picked and roasted, you know, that day sort of thing. But obviously not picked and roasted that day. You don't roast on the same day you harvest. But so, is this going to be any good? So the question is, can you get decent coffee from a supermarket? And should you be snobby about supermarket coffee? Now, to my mind, there's an element of snobbishness that should come with buying from independents, buying from people that know what they're doing. But just because it's in a supermarket doesn't inherently make it bad. To put it one way, if you're going out to adopt a dog, you really want, you know, a Crufts level border collie that can do all the jumps and the endurance training and, you know, looks lovely and is energetic and whatnot. But if you pick up, you know, a sickly little pug with one leg that's shorter than the other and, you know, has a bit of a snotty nose, you're not going to love that dog any less. It just can't compete at the same level. And I think that's possibly not the best analogy, but there is something to that of, I inherently as a coffee lover am going to drink good or bad coffee. There's nothing wrong with freeze-dried coffee if you like it. There's nothing wrong with supermarket coffee. It's just, you know, these levels that you're searching for, and if you've developed a palate for more specialty coffee, then of course you're not going to naturally gravitate towards supermarket coffee. But there should be no shame in buying supermarket coffee or even enjoying supermarket coffee. I don't like a lot of the chain coffees on the high street, Starbucks, Costa, whatever. Do I still buy them if I'm on a road trip? Yes. Is there any shame in, you know, people liking them? Absolutely not. They are massive chains for a reason. People like that stuff, so there's no shame in it. So anyway, we have this bag here, which is about £3 from Sainsbury's for 227 grams, and that's what, you know, roughly what you should be buying. So I mean, just looking at the price, it's considerably cheaper than specialty kind of independent coffee, but also it's mass produced and it's in supermarkets, so it can be. That doesn't mean it's going to be dramatically lower quality. So I'm going to grind it up as an espresso, then do the whole oat latte thing, and we'll see what the results are. Now, in terms of tasting notes, all it's got is full-bodied with dark chocolate overtones. So again, it's got probably less complexity because it's just offering you the basics there, but nothing wrong with that. It's, you know, I'm sure it's still going to be a nice coffee. So like I say, we'll give it a go there. Now, in terms of what Café Direct do as well. They invest 50% of their profits back into farmer communities that are growing the coffee as well. So they're doing good things with that. They're fair trade and soil association organic. So there's also good things in that smaller coffee companies can't necessarily achieve. You know, there are limitations to fair trade and these labels, but it's still doing good things and it's still good coffee. So let's give it a go, see how it pans out. Have our shot. I must say, when opening the bag of beans and grinding it up, it does smell tremendously chocolatey, so I think that's going to be the overwhelming tone there. Not that it's giving us a lot of tones, it just kind of says dark chocolate overtones, full bodied. So of course that's going to be the overwhelming one. So we'll give it a go. It looks quite nice. It's a lot darker than I expected, but it's alright. Nice bit of crema there. Smells quite dark. There's a little bit of bitterness to that, but that kind of rich dark chocolatiness is there. I think I'm right in terms of there's not a lot of complexity. There's actually a nice little creamy kind of note just at the top there, and it's darker and it's a bit more. I've said things like this before, but Guinness drinkers will recognise this tone where it's a slight kind of creamy bitterness. And that sort of, you know, Irish stout, or just stout, I guess, tone. But yeah, that chocolatiness does come through. But that's all I'm getting from it, really. This kind of, there's chocolate and it's like a bitter chocolate. And then it's got this kind of dark, this kind of bitterness that just kind of pushes through. And it's very pleasant, but there's not a lot to it there. So we'll give it a go as a latte, see if anything more comes out. But I think that maybe we've reached our limits just with that. So we'll give it a go, see what we think. There we have our coffee as a latte. I'm sort of hoping the creaminess of the milk will bring out a bit more of that creaminess, and it'll be that chocolatiness will complement it. Maybe that bitterness will be dialed back. And I think that's where maybe it'll pitch itself as a kind of nice creamy latte drink. I'm not sure, that's just what I'm guessing. So we'll see what we think with a few sips. Oh wow. So that chocolatey note really comes out with the milk. That bitterness has all but disappeared, which is quite interesting. So it just becomes this really kind of rich, well, not too rich actually, but it just really pitches itself out, that kind of nice chocolatey note down the bottom. It's not sweet, but there is that kind of dark chocolate note there. And it really just powers through, and it's really quite lovely with a latte, but there's not a lot more to it. You just kind of go, that's quite chocolatey. And I think that is a nice coffee, but like I say, if you're pitching it against specialty coffees, it's not going to compare. However, for a supermarket coffee, I would be drawn to that. I did like the Honduras ones, I do like the DR Congo ones, and I do like this one. So for £3, I don't think there's anything wrong with that particularly. But of course I'm not going to pitch it next to a Dark Arts or a HR Higgins or whomever else you're drinking. that's a specialty coffee. And I think if you are finding that in the supermarket, there's absolutely no shame in picking that up. I think that's a really, decent in terms of what you're getting for £3. So there you have it. I'll give some extra thoughts in a minute, go away, think it over, and give you my final thoughts. But in the meantime, do hit those like and subscribe buttons. So final thoughts are, it's a 2.5 star coffee for me. Now that's because it can't compare to specialty coffee in terms of what it's putting out, but it is a nice coffee, so it's hit bang on the halfway mark. I was going to give it 3, but I've given some really decent specialty coffees 3 that this doesn't compare to. I then thought 2, but the other coffees, 2 is the lowest I've given a coffee so far. That's Marley Coffee and New North Cold Brew, and it's just not those. I liked it, but it just can't compare. So unfortunately it just hits that 2.5 star mark for me, which is bang in the middle of like a 5-star rating. So nothing wrong with it, just it's just not specialty coffee or up to what I'm expecting. But for £3, that's a pretty nice coffee, and overall, perfectly pleasant, mild chocolate notes, nothing too complex. Creamy and smooth as a latte, a bit bitter as a shot. It's as simple as that. Perfectly nice coffee, just not going to make you think too much. And sometimes that's just what you want. So thank you very much. Do hit those like and subscribe buttons, and we'll see you all soon. Bye bye.